Hey everybody, this is Lee with the Tavern Brawlers and Casey with the Tavern Brawlers, and we're going to do a What's in the Box episode, an unboxing of some pretty cool stuff. I got a package here from Guildhouse Games. The game Varia is what we'll be opening up here. Casey, go ahead and tell us a little bit about Varia while I open this baby up.
All right, I'm Casey, also known as Gree. Varia is a card and dice dueling game where players select from one of 15 fantasy-themed classes. You and your opponent take turns planning out a course of actions before rolling dice to see whose tactics come out on top. By using a combinations of weapons, armors, and cards in hand, players concoct a plan of attack or response to an incoming attack each turn. The goal is to knock out the other player's health points to zero through clever card combinations while simultaneously preventing your own defeat by planning tactical defensive maneuvers. Gameplay is divided into two major phases. The planning phase sees the players laying out their actions for the turn, which represents attacks and blocks, and the player will attacks and blocks the players will perform. The resolution phase has players rolling combinations of dice as dictated by the cards they played in the planning phase in order to determine what attacks hit or miss, and what damage, if any, is dealt or avoided. What makes Varia unique is a variance in card performance via introduction of dice, distance mechanic that creates immersive ranged combat, no resources in the deck, players have equal resources each turn, and there's no minor minions, summons, or creatures. Every card represents something done to a player by a player.
All right, so a little bit of a breakdown of what that is you're playing as a deck, or as a hero, as a champion, and you get to do a whole bunch of different cool stuff. We have four of these starter kits,
Dang!
and I'll tell you what we're doing with these here. We got a box, and this box is wrapped up because this is not a sealed box. This is just a container box for a product that I actually already have some of as well. So this box contains all of the decks of the second set.
Yep, so
That
that's
has
all
just
the
come out.
Season 2 decks. That's their most recent release.
And in this box is going to be some other stuff, though. They Ant from Varia Guildhouse Gaming has graciously wrapped this in many layers, and also graciously provided us with some stuff to give to the community for participating in and playing in some tournaments coming up. We're going to start off with a demo day this Sunday. So if you have any interest in checking this game out, please do so. If you want to come check it out with us in the tavern on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we will be kicking off some demoing of this game. We have We have Casey and we have Olgar, two very competent, skilled players in the
Let's
game.
not go that far.
We can pretend. More competent than me, anyways. Who will be able to help coach people through learning how to play this game.
Yep.
Some stuff that we have to give away will be this actual box itself. A lot of people really love this deck box. It has embossed logos on the sides there, beautiful artwork. The box is amazing. It's incredible. It's a little bit bigger, just a little bit longer, I think, than maybe like a Magic bundle box,
Yeah,
sort
if
of.
you recognize a Magic Fat Pack, this is basically what you get with a really nice hot quality.
Yeah. And these are what the deck boxes look like coming out of these kits here.
So that's the Boreal Ranger. That is the Subtlety class for Season 2. Pretty sweet dude. Is Jiro. He's a big panda man. Then we have the Fourth Blade, which is the Charisma class from Season 2. He's a chicken that plays the guitar. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, chicken that plays the guitar. That is pretty cool. This is
We
Barrio
got a big
here.
panda man. Contrary to popular belief, he is basically like a ballerina of death. That's the Psychic Fencer. That is kind of like someone who pokes your brain with a thin sword. I don't remember their name, but they're pretty scary. They're the intellect hero for Season 2. This is Stone Root Druid. I also don't remember his name, but this is the Spirit Hero. He's very into trees, and he will make sure you're planted and rooted into the ground.
I like trees.
And this is my personal favorite. This is the Moonlit Cleric. This is the Faith deck of Season 2. She will judge you harshly on all of the sins she thinks you're committing.
So that's pretty cool. We got some great stuff there. These are all going to be for prize support for upcoming tournaments in the tavern with the Tavern Brawlers. And this guy is the Dragon Knight deck. It's a very
Oh.
popular, very well sought after deck from the game. That they so much so that they actually ran out of print. This is actually out of stock, ran out of stock, and it's they
Hmm.
have a reorder eventually coming. But right now, this is very difficult to get a hold of.
Yep, that's
And
actually the first copy I've seen sealed.
yeah,
Ever. This is basically so. This is what they released in between seasons. Season one, they released 7 decks. Season two, they released 7 decks. In between each season, they're releasing a hero. In this case, this is the Dragon Knight. Um, it's two attributes. It's tenacity and aggression. It's very much based around playing a knight who is falling to a draconic side, and he likes to explode. So he's very much about creating big explosive turns while also leaving himself vulnerable after exploding, and having issues with eventually, like if you get too close, he'll blow you up. But then he's also going to hurt himself pretty bad in doing so. He's very much based around getting up close, attacking, and hoping that you'll die before he does. Because a lot of his own attacks actually require life to pay. Um, they got I can't remember the artist's name, but they got a very prolific artist to do a lot of the artwork for this deck box. As well as the art in the set itself. Like he said, it's sold out online. They're working on getting a new print run. I believe they're shooting for late August, early September, to get another run through. But if you actually are able to come across them at any in person events, they do sell what's called the Dragon's Horde, which is 1 deck of every season, and they'll also have the Dragon Knight. So it's not impossible to get, but you can't find it online. But you can find it in person if you can track Guildhouse Games down at any in person events they're going to.
okay, so we also have a really cool looking playmat, and I'm hoping that you might be able to tell me a little bit more about this.
Yep. So this playmat is I believe this is the Continuum Blade from the Season 1 Intellect Cosmic Mage deck. This is the version, I believe, is it stitched? I don't believe this is
No,
stitched.
no stitched.
Which actually makes this one interesting. It doesn't have the zones, nor is it stitched. So I think this is an early run of their playmats. What they'll do is on Inked Gaming, they actually have a web store for Varia where they sell different arts and playmats. And this is a playmat you could get from Inked Gaming from them. But their versions, I believe, have the zones and stitched edging you can potentially get. So
Yes.
this is one you can buy yourselves. I think it's about $35 to get. So I mean, they're great playmats. I have a couple myself from them, and yeah, they have the Ink Gaming store that you can buy these from, and they're pretty cool. I think the bottom corner has the artist as well, which is a really nice touch.
It
A
does.
lot of playmats don't
Laura
necessarily.
J. Weiner,
Yep,
by with the logo for Guildhouse Games as well.
yep. So really cool. Like I said, they have them at the playmat. It's like a $35 playmat you can get for just competing in our events.
Yep.
It's
This
pretty
is
nice. Some slick artwork, and it's Inks Gaming, so it's
very
a quality,
beautiful.
yeah, quality mat.
And so we have these starter kits. What are in these starter kits?
So these starter kits are pretty cool. They include dice, which obviously is what you need to play the game. They will include 2 decks, the rules, and a little comic to go with the rules themselves. The 2 decks are pretty cool. They are both the Volcanic Warrior and the Shadow Assassin deck. They're a straight copy of the deck you can buy on their own, but in this case, for these decks in specific, they include little front character arts. That's the back of the Varia card there. But they'll include little actual physical player, like just representations of the heroes themselves, as well as alternate arts for both of their weapons and a couple of cards in the deck itself. So it's one for one of the decks that you'll find with the Shadow Warrior or the Shadow Assassin or the Volcanic Warrior, but there's a couple included extras. And I believe the product comes out to about $25, which is cheaper than getting the 2 decks on their own. But this is a great starting point because those are two pretty simple classes. And as you can see here, they're going to have some artwork that actually leads up into the battle you're going to face across with these two. So it's a great place to start. It's cheaper than 2 decks. You can split it with your friend, pick one of the decks, or fight it out, and then you got the rest of the rules in here. Yep, how to play. And yeah, it's a great deal. It's a really the box itself is also really nice. It can hold more than just the 2 decks themselves, and the dice they have are pretty cool too. So it's a good starting product to get actually try out the game. Um, and it has
And
exclusives too, so there's reason to pick it up as the collector.
yeah, So we have a number of these that we're going to be able to give out as well to people who participate in the demo day, as well as to players who participate in upcoming tournaments. Though I think that these would be amazing to give away for the demo day,
Mm-hmm.
particularly because that's when people will really be able to get to experience the set
Mm-hmm.
for the first time. And
And
then,
if they get one of these, they could share it with a friend and actually
yeah,
try it out in paper with someone too.
so it's really cool. I got a set for myself earlier on, and I also got a set of the decks from the season 2 for myself, and so I'm all set to start playing here. This also comes with a rule guide slash comic book slash information about the characters as well.
Yeah, so this one's neat too. With the season 2, they included the rule book as well as a little bit of a lore book strategy guide. So you can look at it and say, hey, this big panda man looks really cool. What can I learn more about him? Open up the book, find the page. They'll talk about the different strategies of each deck. And the neat part too is in that box contains every possible competitive deck you could play in Varia for season 2. And if you had the season 1 decks, you'd have all the possible competitive decks you could play in season 1 of Varia. And so having both the season 1 and season 2 decks means you have every possible deck you could play for Varia
Yeah, it's gonna be
in a
amazing.
tournament. Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we also have a pile of promo cards.
Ooh,
Now,
these are
these are
ooh.
definitely going to be your forte to talk about these. There's a lot of different characters, a lot of different cards in here, so I don't want to go over every single one of them. But go ahead and try to tell me a little bit about what I'm seeing here. So I
So
see,
the first stack you're seeing here, this is
yeah,
going to be so let's do yeah, so that's going to be Find or Center the Mind. I believe that's a season 1 promo. That is for the Mystic Monk deck. It is the Spirit Attribute deck for season 1. I don't quite remember where this promo came from, but it's pretty hard to get a hold of and it's pretty sweet. The rest of the promos we're going to see now are actually promos for pre-ordering the season 2 deck. So these all, if you had pre-ordered season 2, would have got these. The one we just saw was the one for the Subtlety deck. This is the one for the Charisma deck. They're all cards that are already in the decks themselves, but they're obviously the full art, gorgeous foil promos. This is for the Psychic Fencer, which is the Intellect deck of season 2. Then we're going to have the Stone Shaper Druids cards from season 2, and all of these are cards in the deck themselves. So they have names. They're not like character specific or anything. These are just the cards with the full art version of what the art is on the cards themselves.
the
So those are
model behind expandable card games like this is that when you buy your base sets, you have everything that you
mm-hmm.
need, and there's no special cards. There's no special, there's no unique cards outside of those kits. So it's very easy, very attainable, an easy game to pick up while you're in between games or you just need something to do different for the day or something. It's very easy to pick up and put down as needed. Very low investment cost, so it's easy to get into. It's easy to stay into and enjoy. And unlike a lot of like TCGs where you have to constantly be pumping money into them to stay relevant in the game, you can stay relevant in this game very easily with a very low minimal investment. And if you're the type of person who wants to pimp out your deck and get it all foily and shiny and special, they have these promos that have these different artworks or different foiling versions, but they're all
Mm-hmm.
of cards that already exist.
Yeah, and
So
so there's a couple things I'd like to know here. The card you're holding in your hand, you probably have the most copies of that card that anyone in the world besides Guildhouse Game has. This is a promo from the previous month's Varia League. There was, I think, only 8 people in the league, and so each person got 1 copy. So you probably have the most stock of that specific promo that was specifically created for the Varia League that exists.
that's pretty cool.
So that's a very cool promo and going to be a very hard promo to get a hold of. I myself have a copy because I participated in the league, but I only got the one, and the deck can run 3 of them.
hmm Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if I have 8 of them. I might be able to split them up into 2 top 4 cuts or 2 piles.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it goes. We got to figure out what we got to
So
do for the tournament.
this last card here is something special. This is called Collective Growth. This is their first dual attribute card. If you notice, it's just foil. There's no big full art treatments. But this is what they consider their community promo. This is something they send out to people in the community they appreciate, someone who sets up a Guildhouse Games account, who participates in the Varia leagues. And this was actually a card designed by the community. They had sent out a little contest and said, hey, we want to have a card that represents community growth and like how people can like what could represent that. And so they came up with this card, first dual attribute. And so this is another one that's pretty hard to get a hold of. Again, you probably have the most of them out of anyone else outside of Guildhouse Games in this stack right here. I myself have been lucky enough to get a playset of them, and you can actually see. I'm not sure if you can tell here, but it actually says it was designed by a community member in the bottom corner. I can't quite make out the name, but they actually credit the person who handed in this design. And so
yeah, that would be
there's no
the
specific deck.
art is by Muhammad Fari, and the
Mhm.
design is by Michael Cho.
Yep. So what's neat about this card is no deck runs it. This is a completely unique card outside of any of the decks because they do actually have a format for building your own decks. It has really cool, intricate deck building rules and really, really great philosophies for it. We won't get into it here though, but this is the first card they've released that isn't in a deck and is specifically for building in their classic constructed format.
So we'll be able to give these out to people playing in tournaments in the near future. We really hope that you guys come and hang out with us because we really like to focus on just having a lot of fun and bringing people together to play games. And this is a game that we have a lot of fun playing, and we wanted to really share that passion and enjoyment with you. And we hope that you can come check it out with us. Again, this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern was when we will be having people begin to demo games for the community. I do believe one of the game developers will also be joining us and demoing games with us for the
Yep,
community.
that'll be it.
So if you want to talk to them, meet them firsthand, this is a great opportunity for you to do so. We can also make sure that you can get to their community as well. They have a nice little Discord community that's growing every day. People are going in there, checking out the game. Um, we got we'll give away as many of these starter kits as we possibly can during the demo during the demo day as well. So I hope that if you're trying to get into the game, that we can help you do so. Check it out with us, and hope to see you there. Anything last from you, Casey?
I would say, at the very least, give the game a shot. We're going to be doing it on Tabletop Simulator. We have an online version called Tabletopia we can teach on as well. And I think the game is something pretty special. It's pretty unique compared to most. And I would say if you like D&D, really give this game a shot. I think it can scratch a lot of that itch that D&D fulfills as a card game. And yeah, the people at Guildhouse Game are great people. Definitely check out their Discord. They're more than willing to talk and just hang out. And every Thursday they'll do a Varia night where they just hang out and talk with people, play a couple games. So, I mean, if you like what you see, you can also check them out every Thursday. I think around 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, please come on down Sunday, check the game out, and I think you'll really enjoy it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. I'll be learning this game along with you guys too. Um, Casey and Ogar have spent a lot of time working with this game or on this game as community builders and developers. So I'm very excited to be able to share everything that they're doing for this game with you guys as well. And I will be learning how to play that day too. So come join me in learning how to do this. I will be live streaming on Twitch at LeeTB. Feel free to drop in, hit the notifications so you can check it out when I go live. And yeah, I don't really have much else for you guys. Thank you for enjoying my What's in the Box video. This is my third one, and I'm really enjoying this series so far, and I'm looking forward to the next one.